What are we doing today, Sarah?
We are going to show you some real basic gold leafing. So, I sometimes pre-color the adhesive sizing, so you'll see this is like a little bit green. The reason why I do that is so that when I'm brushing it on, I can see it as it goes on the page. So I can kind of see where the glue has been, because once it dries transparent. So when you're doing something like that over there, it's just easier if you have an opportunity to color the sizing.
Does it taint the gold at all?
Yeah, no, it shouldn't, because your gold's going to be pretty opaque. So what I'm going to do is just kind of paint a thin coat of the sizing on the area where I want the gold to be, or the silver, or any of it. And then you can get pretty thin with it, so it kind of depends on what kind of brush you've got going on. And then you just kind of have to let this dry before you're able to leaf it. If you don't let it dry, the leafing will pop off and it'll get gummy and kind of gross. This glue doesn't ever fully tack. It's never going to get hard or fully cure the way matte medium would, or Elmer's glue or wood glue. This stays tacky once it's dry. So really it's just a matter of knowing the difference between wet and dry.
Like a Post-it note almost.
Yeah, totally.
And so what is this gold? Is this just something you buy?
So this is faux gold leaf. This is just, it comes in packs of 25. It's just, yeah, you can buy it like any art supply store, any craft store, generally speaking. You see it used a lot for gilded frames or, kind of knickknacks or something. I'm going to wash this right away so this doesn't set up. The one thing, it is kind of hard on your brushes, so you do have to...
oh, yeah. I bet it's...
It's super sticky. You can see even like from touching the bottle, it's really, it's like just kind of gross stuff.
Well, probably very toxic.
It doesn't have a huge off-gas smelling, but I'm sure, to eat is probably terrible.
So when you say wait for it to dry, just a couple minutes.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to put that back on.
Well, the good thing is that probably that doesn't really get ruined the way other glues do, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of go through these bottles
quickly.
Yeah, I do. I go through them quickly because, as you can see, like, I pour it into the cap, and so I have some waste involved in all of it. So I do kind of waste a little bit of the glue. So what I'm doing is just trying to check for like the sheen on the area where I put down the glue to see whether or not it looks dry, because it does dry kind of fast, but there in the middle where it's still milky looking, it's not quite tacked up yet. And so once it's tacked up, it'll be ready to go, but it's just going to take a second.
Yeah.
How long does it take, or how long is it tacky for?
It's tacky indefinitely. Yeah, like until dust covers it or something else. That you could use flocking probably with this type of glue. Oh, yeah, it kind of has like a silicone feel to it, or like it has like a gumminess to it that's always there. And
is that what makes the gold stay? I mean, I'm not sure what the tackiness has to do with the gold.
So yeah, the tackiness. So if we were using just like regular glue right now, the liquid from the glue would be like the gold leaf wouldn't adhere to it. Like there's something about that surface area where it needs a little bit of the tooth from the tackiness. So if you use something that's like really wet, it's gonna like float on top of it and then kind of float right off of it. But if you have something that has like a little bit of grip to it, the gold leaf really, really adheres. So it's kind of like the difference between no glue surface. So if you have like a shiny surface versus
the wood,
like a rough, exactly, something like that. Like it's going to adhere to the thing with the most texture. So this is giving it kind of a little bit of grip.
Which is why you can't use it on glass. Haha.
And so, yeah, it's still just a little bit milky. But yeah, so if you were trying to use like other glues, it's really just a matter of this being too fine a substance to really adhere to those types of glues. But other than that, I'm not really like super expert on adhesives.
Oh yeah,
so I
yeah.
don't-
I'm just very curious.
Yeah.
I'm like a child. Wow. So yeah, still wet.
Just that one, I must have put it on a little heavy.
Can you? Yeah, you can remove it. So if it's shiny, it's too wet still. I think that looks
Well,
good.
no, it'll stay shiny. If it's milky, it's too wet
Oh,
still.
milky.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah, I think it's so.
So I'm just gonna flip to a page with a nice undisturbed sheet because that'll be the most dramatic.
Oh yeah.
So these sheets just kind of come with this tissue in between to separate them because they have such a lift to them. So
Oh.
breathing becomes something you can't really do when you're laying it down, especially if you're doing something super intricate. This is pretty, like a pretty bulbous form, so it should be pretty easy. So I'm just gonna lay it down, drag it.
Oh, okay.
And then, so here's where you can tell I'm not a real gold leafer for real, because if I were, I'd have like a special brush that's better for putting down leaf. But what I'll do is just kind of lightly brush the whole thing down.
Is that good or bad? What is it?
It doesn't really matter. It doesn't disturb the form, but I didn't mean it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But that's breathing.
Oh
That's what
gosh.
breathing does. And so what I'm doing right now is just trying to get it to adhere to where the glue is without disrupting, so that like they're on the edges of the thing.
Oh, I see like bubbly shapes.
I do too. I'm actually kind of curious about what that is. I don't understand why
Maybe
that's
paper
happening.
buckles.
Might be, but it's just not really sticking right there. Maybe.
Oh, this might be. Yeah, it's sure pretty though. I mean, I just like looking at it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just-
So I'm just trying to get it to tack to where the design is.
And you're saying a special gold brush.
Yeah, so there's like a nice kind of big type makeup type brush, you
Oh,
know,
yeah,
that
yeah.
like has a lot of surface area and is nice and super soft. This is, you know, just kind of a regular basic acrylic paintbrush, so it's not really an awesome tool for it, but it does the job for me.
Yeah.
So what I do is just try and
I see
like
the shape already.
coax it until, yeah, something is weird that's happening here, but until it's like ready to pull off. But yeah,
Is
so,
that
yeah,
something
you can
that pulled
see.
away? Yeah. And you kind of reuse that gold, I assume.
Yeah.
Even when it gets all like that, you can.
Yeah, totally. So like this little spot, like I'll just kind of put those back.
Oh, neat. I'm gonna have to get that. It's just so nice. I don't think I've always used a lot of things. I don't think I've ever used this before. And pretty versatile in terms of paper, wood.
Yeah, it really is just, I think that adhesive sizing, it's really just a matter of being patient. So you'll see that like this isn't going to be the best result because I rushed it a little.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some holes in it. But yeah, so now what I do is I kind of have established where
look
the
at that
design is. I
fine line.
kind of
That's
try
cool.
and carve with the brush and the design so that it's pulling.
And after it's done, would you say it's pretty fragile? You should put maybe plexi or glass on top of it, or
No, once it's done,
it's forever.
it's actually pretty good. Like, so see like these areas, what I would normally do here is like where you can still see the black, I'd kind of go back with glue and do it again.
Oh yeah, with the brush, little brush and glue. Oh, so even if you fold the paper and everything, it still kind of stays.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
cool.
Totally. Yeah. So
That's nice.
at this point, what I would do is just kind of let it dry for a day,
A day. Uncover.
and then I would seal it. And so it like this same brand, so this is like the craft brand I was telling you about.
Mm-hmm.
They sell like this as a kit, so you can buy it with the sizing, which is the glue, and then a sealer as well. But this sealer is really just a water-based acrylic clear coat.
So you could use matte medium even.
Exactly. So
Okay.
you could really use whatever kind of sealer you want
Or
to use for that
the
particular
spray.
project.
Poly spray.
Yep. And so
Okay.
that's what I use. Is
Oh,
just
that's
kind of a
great.
clear coat.
I gotta get that.
But yeah, so here it is. This is like all of the leafing that has stuck to the glue.
Yeah, that is super. God, I love that.
Yeah, that's gold leafing.
Well, thank you so much, Sarah.
You're welcome.
Learning gold leaf with Sarah at Azul.
Good little tutorial.
Yeah.